Oof man, this is it. The moment that shows you just how serious the Seattle Seahawks organization is about addressing every single weakness that's been holding us back. While everyone's been focused on the big names and headline stories, our front office has been making calculated moves that prove championship ambitions are alive and well in the Pacific Northwest. The Seahawks just made a roster move that might seem small to casual fans, but you and I know better. We signed undrafted free agent defensive lineman Anthony Campbell and waived D'Amico Rowland to make room. This isn't just roster management, this is strategic warfare against our biggest Achilles heel. Anthony Campbell brings the size we desperately need at 6'6", 307 pounds, and while his college production wasn't eye-popping with Louisiana Monroe and Miami, head coach Mike McDonald and defensive coordinator Aiden Durdy see something special in this developmental prospect. They're not just collecting bodies, they're collecting potential game changers. Our run defense has been up and down for years, 12th man, and you felt that frustration every single Sunday. But look at what's happening. We're in the middle of our second OTA session, with 7 more scheduled through June 12th before mandatory minicamp from June 17th and 19th, and every single move is calculated to build depth where we need it most. Rowland was 6'3", 340 pounds with decent production at Southern Miss, but Campbell's frame and potential under McDonald's defensive system represents the kind of upside that could transform our interior line. The coaching staff sees something that college statistics couldn't measure, raw potential that could explode under professional development. This is what championship organizations do, 12th man. While other teams are making headlines with flashy signings, we're building depth, developing talent, and preparing for a season where every single player matters. From Abraham Lucas transforming his body, to Jalen Milroe studying division rivals, to adding defensive line depth, every move is connected to one goal: bringing a championship back to Seattle. The 12th man has waited long enough. Smash that like button if you believe this is our year. Drop a comment and tell us which of these 3 stories has you most excited for the 2025 season, and make sure you're subscribed because we're going to be covering every single move this organization makes on the road back to championship glory. Can you feel it, 12th man? Can you feel that championship energy building in Seattle? Because ready or not, the rest of the NFL better prepare for what's coming from the Pacific Northwest. Mateo Joseph, there, I said it. The name that's been whispered in the corridors of Elland Road, the young striker who could be one of the first players walking out that door this summer. Leeds United legend Paul Robinson has just dropped a bombshell that's got the entire Whites community in absolute turmoil. According to exclusive reports, our Spanish sensation could be heading for the exit with a staggering $20 million price tag attached to his name, and Real Betis are reportedly circling like vultures ready to pounce. But here's what's really got my blood boiling. Robinson isn't just talking about selling Joseph, he's talking about Leeds being forced to sell due to PSR compliance. Can you believe it? We've just clinched the championship title, we're heading back to the promised land of the Premier League, and already we're talking about sacrificing our young talent to balance the books like some mid-table club desperate for cash. Robinson didn't hold back when he said, "He's a player that I really like, and he's a top-class player, but he's not had that run of games in the championship, and he's not going to get that in the Premier League." Ouch! That stings worse than a Daniel James miss from 2 yards out, doesn't it? 11 starts, 3 goals, 3 assists. Those are the numbers that define Joseph's season, and apparently, they're not enough to secure his future at Elland Road. The harsh reality is hitting us like a Patrick Bamford injury update. Joseph has been stuck behind Jorginho Rutter and Joel Pirro in the pecking order all season. And with Fark reportedly eyeing more attacking reinforcements this summer, where does that leave our young Spanish starlet, fighting for scraps when he should be leading the line? But wait, there's a silver lining that could save our sanity. Robinson suggesting Leeds should negotiate a buyback clause in any deal. Smart move? Absolutely genius, because imagine if Joseph develops into the goal-scoring machine we all know he can be, tearing up La Liga with Real Betis, while we're left watching Bamford limp through another injury-plagued Premier League campaign. The writing's on the wall. White's family. If that big bid comes in, Fark might not stand in Joseph's way. And with Leeds needing every penny for their Premier League survival mission, this sale might be the bitter pill we have to swallow. And that's what's leading us straight into the next piece of this puzzle that's got everyone talking. Speaking of replacements and squad building, here comes a move that's dividing opinion faster than a controversial VAR decision at Old Trafford. Aaron Cresswell, the 35-year-old West Ham veteran who could be donning the famous white shirt next season in what might be the most polarizing signing since Adam Forshaw. Dr. Rajpal Brar, the injury expert who's become the go-to voice for fitness concerns, has just cleared the air about Cresswell's fitness worries and his verdict. The experienced left-back should pass his pre-transfer medical despite his injury setbacks this season. But here's where it gets interesting and absolutely controversial. This isn't just about signing a free agent. This is about FARKE potentially replacing Junior Firpo with a player who critics are calling way past his best. Can you feel the tension building in the South Stand? We're talking about a defender who's made 312 Premier League appearances, scored 10 goals, and provided 30 assists throughout his career. Those are serious credentials that demand respect, but Dr. Brar's assessment reveals the harsh reality that's got fans split down the middle. While he has faced injury setbacks this season, none of them were major. That sounds reassuring until you realize he only featured in 18 Premier League games last season. 18! That's barely half the season, and we're supposed to trust him with Premier League football week in, week out. The football purists are already screaming bloody murder that this move makes no sense whatsoever. They're saying Cresswell is a liability going forward and does not have the same kind of pace, which would make it impossible for FARKE to employ his trademark high defensive line that got us promoted in the first place. The critics are demanding Leeds look across the continent for someone in their mid-20s with a high ceiling instead of settling for a soon-to-be 36-year-old stopgap solution. But here's the counter-argument that's got FARKE believers excited. Cresswell brings Premier League experience that money can't buy. He's been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and knows how to survive in the top flight. With Sam Byram potentially moving on and Firpo's future uncertain, maybe this veteran presence is exactly what our young squad needs. The Whites faithful are torn. Is this pragmatic genius or desperate mediocrity? But here's the plot twist that's got everyone talking. What if this is just the beginning? What if Cresswell is just the first domino to fall in a much bigger, more ambitious plan that leads us to our final revelation that will blow your minds completely? Jack Rudoni. Remember that name because this could be the signing that defines Leeds United's entire Premier League campaign. The 49ers enterprises have just handed FARKE a war chest of £100 million to spend this summer, and guess what? They're not messing around. Coventry's midfield magician, who scored 9 goals and provided 12 assists in the championship this season, is firmly in Leeds' crosshairs. But here's what's got me absolutely electric with excitement. Rudoni isn't just any championship player. This is a 23-year-old who was once a target for Marcelo Bielsa himself, and in his final 12 games of the season, 10 goal contributions. 10! That's the kind of form that gets Premier League scouts salivating. Coventry are demanding at least £15 million for their prized asset. That's 3 times what they paid for him. But when you look at his stats, 43 appearances, 21 total goal contributions, 81% pass accuracy, you start to understand why Leeds are ready to break the bank. Here's the beautiful part of this story. While we might be losing Joseph, while we might be settling for Cresswell, Rudoni represents everything Leeds United should be about in the modern game. Young, hungry, talented, and ready to make the step up to the Premier League with a club that believes in his potential. Frank Lampard has transformed this kid into a championship sensation, and now FARKE wants to complete that journey by turning him into a Premier League star. Can you imagine the scenes if Leeds pit Burnley and Sunderland to his signature? That would be a statement that echoes across the entire football world. Whites faithful, we've just witnessed the blueprint for Leeds United's Premier League revolution. From the heartbreak of potentially losing Joseph, through the pragmatic signing of Cresswell, to the excitement of landing Rudoni. This summer is going to define our next chapter. Smash that like button if you think these moves will keep Leeds in the Premier League. Drop a comment telling me which signing excites you most, and subscribe, because this is just the beginning of what promises to be the wildest transfer window in recent memory. Here's my question for you, marching on together family. Are we watching Leeds United make the smart, calculated moves necessary for Premier League survival, or are we seeing a club that's lost its identity in pursuit of staying up? What do you think? Are these the moves that will keep us marching on together in the Premier League? Or are we setting ourselves up for another heartbreaking relegation battle? MOT.